I'm noticing that.
Right, right.
I've been thinking about that. Right. So for the past few weeks, I've been writing down thoughts that I've been having in the Notes app, and I figured that while I'm waiting for my food to get here, I would just read them out. I don't know. And before you ask what I ordered, it was Jersey Mike's, and it was chicken bacon ranch. Is it gonna be good? Probably not. Am I gonna eat the whole thing? Yes, I will. Tonally, this is gonna be all over the place because the first note is kind of deep. So let's just dive into it and have some fun. I've been thinking about that the world feels like a dark place right now, but it will get better in time. And the older I get, I kind of have realized that life is about cycles. And a primary example of that is kind of things that you like, you might have fallen out of love with, and then years later you kind of go back to it. I've felt like lately that kind of also applies to bigotry, in the sense that there are also cycles to progress. I feel like personally, prior to maybe 2018, things were moving in the right direction, and then COVID happened, and any momentum that we might have had, progress-wise, just plummeted. But I do think that the pendulum will swing back, because if it's right here on conservatism, it's going to swing back all the way to progressivism. Progressivism? Is that a word? I don't know. But regardless, I do think we're going to course correct, so right. In the same vein, I feel like we just kind of need to ignore bigoted people and pretend like they don't exist. There's only so much convincing you can do to bigots before it kind of just feels like a lost cause. You can put all of that energy into trying to convert them, but at a certain point, you just gotta count your losses and just act like they don't factor into your life at all. Pretend like they're not even real. And maybe that's problematic. Maybe people are gonna disagree with that. But at a certain point, you gotta protect yourself. And that is to say that you should shut down any of their bullshit immediately and not let them get away with it. But, you know, in terms of education, there's only so much you can say to these people. They're not really gonna agree with you. They're looking to get a rise out of you. So you just gotta shut it down and keep it pushing. I've been thinking about that the hate that Chappell Roan gets is so unwarranted and forced, it drives me crazy. Obviously, you don't have to like her music. I personally like her, but you don't have to like her. Just the personal attacks that people throw towards her for the most minute things, it's just insane. And it makes no sense. People are just trying to get mad at something is what it feels like to me. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's because she's a woman or because she's queer or if it's a combination of both, but it feels like she's put under such a microscope that everything she says gets dissected and turned into this bigger deal than it needs to be, when it's truly, it's nothing. It's not an issue at all. Get over it. Nothing is that serious. Lighten up. Speaking of being hateful and miserable, I think I'm turning a new leaf and I'm tired of being the hater in the room. I'm notoriously a critic of everything, especially, or even the things that I like. I criticize everything. There is a point where that just becomes hateful rather than critiquing, and I've kind of hit my limit with that. I'm tired of being the miserable one. I'm tired of it. I've gotten better at it lately, but I just want to let people enjoy what they enjoy. I don't have to like it, but if you like it, good for you. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to say my opinion, because if you know me, I'm going to say my opinion. But I'm just going to let people love what they love. Now, I know I said that I was going to stop being a hateful person, but we need to talk about this season of Survivor. Right. Season 48 just ended. I started watching during season 40. Of course, I've seen clips and parts of past seasons before then, but I started actually really watching during season 40. I've went back, and if you include season 48, I've seen about 20 seasons or so. Now, if you ask me to remember most of what I've watched, I probably couldn't, but that's besides the point. The point is that this season was so bad. It had almost zero redeeming qualities. I was satisfied with the winner. That's about it. This is one of the only 2 seasons in this modern era of the 40s that I personally disliked, which might be an unpopular opinion because I know people don't necessarily like these seasons that much, which, whatever. But this season and season 43, oh my god. At least it's better than season 43 because season 43 was bad to the end, including the winner. But oh my god, this was just abysmal. I'm not even going to talk about the specifics because that's how little I care about it. But you know what? I want to go on Survivor so bad. In my head, I think I'd go far, but if I actually think in reality, I know I would probably not win, which is fine. I don't need to win. I just want to go have fun, prove to myself that I can do it, and maybe make it a little far and get a little money. I don't even know how to start a fire, so I'd have to learn, but I want to go on so bad. Survivor, hire me, cast me. I could do it. And you know what? I will win. Yeah, right. Anyways, I just think it would be fun to go on and prove that I'm capable of doing it for anybody that thinks otherwise. We're in late May right now of 2025. I don't know when you're watching this, whatever. But it has been raining so much. So when I wrote this note down, it was real. I said there's nothing worse than working on a rainy day. Not only do I have to work for 9 hours a day, yes, 9 hours a day. Damn. If we're being real, rain is kind of only good when it's a day you have off, whether that be the weekend or a holiday, whatever, and you were planning on staying inside anyways, you didn't have any plans. That's the only time rain is actually good and beautiful. But otherwise, oh my god, it pisses me off so much. Speaking of pissing me off, here I go. Even though I said I wasn't going to be a hater, I don't care. Another weather thing that pisses me off, the wind. There is nothing worse than the wind fucking with your hair. My hair is kind of short now, but when it's longer and the wind is fucking with it, oh my god. I don't know how people with like actual long hair do it because it makes me so angry. What I'm trying to say is that it kills the vibe. Okay, I have no segue into the next one, but the way that our school district set up which grades were in which school was actually insane, and let me explain. So for us, elementary school was grades 1 through 4. Middle school was 6 and 7. And then instead of high school, we had a secondary school, which was 7 and 8. Then we had high school, which was 9 through 12. But just the separation between middle and secondary school, them being in two different schools, it made no sense to the point where as soon as my grade, or maybe the grade after, as soon as we were done, they got rid of that system and moved to what everybody else in the United States traditionally does. And every time I explain that to anyone, they're so baffled by it. And at the time, it felt normal to us, but looking back, it was crazy, obviously. But that was my life. Speaking of school, do you remember the Cup song? Right. If you remember the Cup song, what's crazy about our school is that the Cup song became a gym elective in middle school for us. You either played football or Cup song. Can you guess what I did? The answer might shock you. Right, I did Cup song. Yeah, I did Cup song. Right. Is it time to talk about my problematic ADHD diagnosis? I think so. So, during COVID, like many other people, I finally went to a psychologist to determine whether or not I actually had ADHD. The signs were always there. I was going crazy during COVID. So, a lot of things were contributing to this. So I go to a few sessions in this guy's weird office that was maybe 40 minutes away from my house or something. And whether it was the third or fourth session, he gave me an ADHD quiz. It was just a sheet of paper with some statements on it, and I had to put numbers 1 through 5 for each statement, 1 being not like me, 5 being a lot like me. And as I was filling it out, I kind of felt like I was gaming the system because I could tell by the answers that I was giving what the outcome was going to be. So I had a weird imposter syndrome about it the whole time. I was like, okay, this does apply to me, but maybe it doesn't apply to me that much because maybe if I put it higher, he's gonna think I'm more ADHD than I actually am. I was getting so in my head about it, which is also totally why I needed to see a psychologist in the first place. Because who thinks like that? Me. I'm crazy. Anyways, I wasn't lying or anything, but I was starting to get paranoid. And I know it wasn't that serious, and I started gaslighting myself. I don't know. Anyways, from that quiz, he diagnosed me with ADHD. He told me to go see a psychiatrist, and then I got medicine for it. And I was on medicine for a few months, and then I went off medicine because I felt like it was making me robotic and crazy, and I was losing any essence of myself. So that was fun. Anyways, speaking of ADHD, I don't know if anyone's ever seen that tweet where somebody was complaining about the fact that they couldn't do something because of their ADHD, and another person replied and was like, "Oh my god, you people can't do anything." Because that has stuck with me every single time I feel like I'm in a rut because of maybe ADHD related purposes. It might be the most motivating thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I've been thinking about the fact that I have the biggest Adam's apple in the entire world, to the point where it kind of concerns me a little bit. I was thinking about, if I got into a fight, I would win, first of all. But if I got into a fight and somebody punched me in the throat, I think I would die. When I got a massage a few weeks ago, there were so many weird moments during that session. The massage therapist kind of got on top of me. You know what? Let's just save it for another day. Let's save that story for another day. Moving on. I've been thinking about this one a lot lately. Being a very effeminate and flamboyant bisexual man is a very interesting experience, because no matter how many times you say that you're bisexual, people will just believe you're gay. And whenever you mention that a woman's beautiful or something along those lines, people will look at you with the most shocked face ever when you've never claimed anything differently. Moving on, I think life becomes so much more beautiful when you can just embrace the campiness of it all and let go and have fun. Like, everything's ridiculous, nothing's that serious until it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just embrace it, laugh, and live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. You know what? Home Goods had a point with that one. Right. I'm convinced that if I lived in a walkable city, that my life would be so much better. I live somewhere right now where, you gotta drive to do anything. And that's kind of been my whole life. But I'm looking to move very soon, very shortly. And I'm hoping it's somewhere walkable, where there's like a cafe on the corner, there's a shop you can go to, there's like a library. I just want to be a local. I just want to have fun. I just want to walk. I want to be somewhere you can walk. I'm lucky because right now I live directly outside of a train station that goes into New York City, which is great, wonderful. I love that. And I would like to keep living near a train station that can take me into New York City. But I don't know if I can live in New York City. I'm perfectly fine being just outside of New York City and going in whenever I want. It's a little bit too fast-paced for me, I think. At least on a daily basis. I do love New York City, which might also be an unpopular opinion. I know people love to dog on New York City. New York City is fucking cool. And if you don't like New York City, you're probably lame as hell. Something else I've been thinking about. I am so addicted to my phone, and I am hyper aware of that addiction, but I don't know how to stop it. There are phases that I go through where I get better at it. I'm off my phone for stretches of time, but hold on, the Roomba just went off. That was some kind of divine intervention being like, get off that damn phone. I think I just need to take that in. I just found this note. Call me Squid when I'm in the ward. Freak Bob calling, leave him wanting more. Right. Let's talk very briefly about how credit scores are the stupidest thing to ever exist, ever in human history, period, end of sentence. I'm pretty sure it has roots in racism, which obviously makes sense with the United States because everything they do does. But it's also just a way to keep poor people poor and further discriminate against entire groups of people. It's awful. Whoever came up with it, we gotta have a word. I'm about to intervene. And my credit score is pretty good. It's just the whole concept of it, dumb. And one final thing I've been thinking about is my view right now. Like, look at that. Are you kidding me? Anyways, because I'm constantly thinking all the time, and usually none of it's important, and I have nowhere to speak my mind, I think I'll probably do more of this in the future. Is anybody gonna watch? Probably not. Does anyone care what I have to say? Probably not. Do I care that nobody cares what I have to say? No. Am I gonna speak regardless? Yes. Thank you for watching.
More than 1 million kids come up missing per year. What do y'all think happened to these kids? And every time people come up missing, the more and more people come up missing, the more they release more chicken sandwiches and shit. I'm noticing that.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme? Have you ever gone to Krispy
Yeah.
Kreme? Was it crispy?
No.
Yeah, right.